Hello everyone! As you all know by now, food is my first love. To this day, eating and cooking are my two consuming passions. Growing up in an Italian household and making all things Italian my entire life, including at my restaurant, I have an extensive knowledge of Italian food. So I consider myself an expert when it comes to judging Italian cuisine. Las Vegas, with an early mob influence, has always needed to satisfy an insatiable desire for first-rate, authentic Italian food by the Italian transplants who grew up with home-cooked meals and who dined in the top Italian restaurants in the East. This led to an extensive collection of excellent Italian restaurants in Vegas. Today, I'm going to review some of the highest-rated and tell you what I think. These are my top 5 Italian restaurant picks, ranked in order from least to best. While you really can't go wrong with any of them, this is the order I feel they deserve. I hope this video helps you decide where to find excellent Italian food in Vegas. So without any further delay, let's get started. Coming in at number 5 on our list, Nora's. It's the place many locals will tell you is their favorite Italian restaurant. They're just a few minutes west of the Strip on Flamingo and first opened 32 years ago. We've been here several times through the years and always find it to be a warm and inviting atmosphere and a fun place to be. Today, we began with the garlic bread. The bread here is fresh and homemade. I love garlic bread, but I have to say this was a little bland. It lacks salt and garlic. Nicely toasted, but not quite the best garlic bread in the city. I've heard from many people that they consider this to be the best calamari in Vegas. This is my second time trying it, and while I liked it, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. It was bland and lacked seasoning. As for the execution, the squid was unevenly cooked. The batter was the issue. It caused many of the squid pieces to stick together and created large clumps of squid which didn't cook properly. The marinara for dipping was well seasoned, but overall, this dish was somewhat of a letdown. First made in Sicily in the early 19th century, chicken marsala is one of the most loved and popular Italian dishes, certainly mine. There are many renditions of chicken marsala. At Nora's, they have a thin sauce version made with sweet marsala wine. It's light and refreshing, almost fruity, and very tasty. Now, its being sweet is a departure from tradition, where one typically uses a dry marsala wine, but it works. The purists among us may disagree, but I'll bet you they would happily finish every bite of Nora's chicken marsala, and so will you. The chicken parm, very crispy. I love the breading. The chicken is a good quality boneless breast, moist and tender, easily cut without the use of your knife. Crispy chicken holds up to the sauce, and the sauce was good. My usual criticism about Italian red sauce is when people put in too much oregano. Well, no concern with that at Nora's. It's just the right amount. My only issue was the sauce could possibly have used more garlic, but then I like garlic, so this comes down to a personal preference. Anyway, a very good dish, and I enjoyed it very much. Well, this was the highlight of our meal. It's our YouTube 1-year anniversary, and Nora's helped us celebrate with tiramisu on the house. It's a well-executed dessert and made the proper way, with the exception of yellow cake used in place of ladyfingers. Soaked in espresso, and with mascarpone cheese and whipping cream perfectly prepared with just the right amount of sugar and vanilla. There's a lot of awful tiramisu out there, but this was not the case at Nora's. Very good, and a great finish to our meal. Okay, moving on to number 4. Blvd's is the brainchild of Buddy Velasco, known for his Italian food, but as his nickname, the Cake Boss, would suggest, even more known for his fantastic desserts. They're located right on the Strip in the Venetian. They first opened about 10 years ago. We've been here many times since moving to Vegas. Today, we started with the focaccia bread, and it's hot and fresh, and I've had it many times here. I'm sad to say, it's but a 5 out of 10. Not the best you'll ever have, but if you're a bread lover, it will do in a pinch. Make sure to ask for more than the few pieces they initially bring to the table. They treat it as though only a few pieces remain in the place and don't want to give it up easily. Okay, now for some calamari. Is it the best? It certainly is beautiful, but something went wrong, as this dish is overly fishy. I love the fried jalapenos and the lemon aioli is wonderful. It takes the edge off the fishiness a bit. Hate to sound like Debbie Downer so far in this video, but don't fret, things begin to pick up now. As I previously noted, chicken marsala is one of my go-to dishes, so I'm very picky about it. Of course, nobody made it as good as my mom did. Here, it's very similar to the way I make it, very well executed with a dry marsala, not sweet. This recipe is always a balancing act, and here, they got it spot on. Perfect amount of wine, butter, and chicken stock, and great cremini mushrooms. I also love the linguine and garlic sauce. It's a wonderful combination with bright, bold flavors of the marsala. This was a great dish. The chicken piccata here normally comes with linguine with garlic sauce, but having just had that with the marsala, we substituted the pomodoro red sauce. The piccata was very well made, perhaps a tad lacking in acidity from the lemon and saltiness from the chicken stock, but all in all, it was very enjoyable, good quality chicken, pounded out to beautiful even cutlets. As for the pomodoro sauce, it was good, but I've had much better, teetering on the edge of having too much oregano. And you all know by now of my great disdain for over-oreganoed Italian sauce, the plague of would-be Italian cooks. Again, being our birthday week, we received a complimentary dessert, the Nutella waterfall cake. As I mentioned before, Buddy Velastro is known as the cake boss, and as you'd expect, this restaurant delivered. What a fantastic confection. Hazelnut frosting within and atop a decadent, moist, and stunning cake. There's no doubt Buddy V makes the best desserts. So, all in all, a very fine meal. One final note, every Sunday they have a wonderful all-you-can-eat buffet, $55 per person. We love this place for brunch, it's fantastic. But for the sake of this video, we ordered exclusively from the regular menu. But do consider the Sunday brunch here. It's terrific, 10 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 3, the bronze medal goes to Esther's Kitchen, the brainchild of Chef Trees. It's situated in our hip and trendy downtown arts district, right on South Main Street. Esther's is a foodies destination and a place not to be missed by bread and pasta lovers. Esther's makes all the sourdough bread in-house, and it's obviously very popular, as every time we've been here, we see it gracing the tables of nearly every patron around us. Just one taste, and you'll know why. I could come here solely for this bread, served with all 8 of the spreads and be satisfied. Realistically, however, I would probably order the 3 spread option for $17 and choose 3 from the following list of my favorite 4. Anchovy butters, reminiscent of a Caesar salad in flavor. It's topped with white anchovies, and I absolutely love this combination. This bread is based on andouille sausage, which is from the Calabria region of Italy. It's crave-worthy, very rich in umami. Made from ground fatty pork and pureed peppers, it has a very robust, unique quality to it. When it hits the warm bread, it melts and makes sort of a liquefied version of sausage. And it is totally delicious. This spread, such a perfect combination. I love basil. I grow it at home in my garden and use it in so many recipes. I never get tired of fresh basil and its wild minty flavor. The basil ricotta spread is a blend of basil, oil, ricotta cheese, and fresh herbs. How could that not be good? Carbonara originated in Rome, It has been an Italian favorite for many years. For many chefs, it's an obsession. There's much speculation how to make it properly. As with most things, there is the traditional view and then the next generation view. At Esther's, it's tradition all the way. It's a mixture of whipped eggs, pork cooked in fat, and finely ground cheese mixed up into a sauce. I like Esther's carbonara, but it lacks a bit of seasoning and could have used a lot more cheese. The carbonara was fresh, but came up short in the complexity and depth of flavor department. While I enjoyed all the pasta dishes at Esther's, this was my least favorite. This dish
Radiatore al limone.
is very creative and fresh. Black garlic, lemon, cream, chives, and breadcrumbs. I love the creaminess of the sauce and the surprising bright tart taste of the lemon. The breadcrumbs in this dish take the place of cheese and are really a nice texture to bite into, especially as the bread retains the sauce. Black garlic really isn't an Italian thing, it comes from Asian culture. The garlic is aged by allowing moistened garlic to sit for a long period of time in a controlled environment. It has a very deep, rich umami flavor. This dish is a true delight, and I highly recommend you get this when you eat at Esther's. I may have to steal this recipe. This was by far my favorite pasta here. Our server told us the impetus behind this dish was a thought of one coming home, stumbling drunk, waking the next morning in a fog, and needing to throw together leftovers in the kitchen to soak up the residual alcohol. It tasted like a pink pasta alla vodka with bacon, and as with almost everything else, roasted garlic. I loved this dish. Unfortunately, one mustn't have a killer hangover to enjoy this dish.
Mamma mia.
What a great dessert! Whiskey, caramel, honeycomb, and whipped cream. Budino is the Italian word for either a custard or a pudding. This budino is nothing short of amazing, with the texture of a creme anglaise. I'm loving the extraordinarily strong notes of butterscotch, made from the combination of burnt butter, whiskey, and brown sugar, melted together for the topping till they form a light caramel sauce. I must say, this is a spectacular recipe. I would highly recommend getting this. You're gonna love it. Okay, the silver medal goes to the Bootlegger Italian Bistro. Since the 1940s, this family has been making amazing quality homemade Italian food and sharing their gift with the Las Vegas locals. This is more than a restaurant. It's a legacy and a tribute to the art of fine Italian cooking. The Bootlegger is a great spot for traditional Italian food. At the Bootlegger, they start you off with their delicious homemade bread knots. They're served with homemade tomato sauce for dipping. I absolutely love these bread knots. I could have just eaten this all day, it was so good. But that would make for a very boring review. As for the accompanying dipping sauce, it was far too strong with oregano. And so I asked for their marinara sauce as a replacement, and it was much better. Really paired well with the knots. Outstanding. I have to say that this is one of the best versions of calamari I've ever had. The calamari here is just a fantastic starter. Italian-style calamari is my favorite type of preparation for squid. Little cut rings and tiny, delicate, curly tentacles. Here, it's perfectly coated with an egg wash and dipped into flour and Italian breadcrumbs. It's far from bland, lots of seasoning, salt, pepper. I'd be happy to eat this calamari anytime. Don't miss it. If you want to know how the chicken parm tasted in my restaurant, this is pretty darn close. The chicken cutlet here is wonderfully crispy, coated in egg, flour, and then double dipped in breadcrumbs, which I suspect they make themselves from their homemade bread. The chicken on the inside is moist and very tender. The flavor of the chicken is so fresh, it almost flies itself to your table, if chickens could fly. A wonderful pure sauce, much like the one we made in my family. Tomatoes, garlic, perfumed olive oil, and a hint of fresh basil. Pure, clean, and wonderful. The pasta is an angel hair. It's fantastic. I'm sure you're going to love this dish as much as I do. They say there's two things one should never see: a woman putting on her makeup and the making of sausage. And of course, a woman making sausage while putting on her makeup, that could be life-altering. Anyway, this is a recipe that was created with a lot of thought and love. Chef Maria's fantastic meat sauce and Bootlegger's homemade sausage atop rigatoni are a force to be reckoned with. I love lined rigatoni. So much sauce is caught up inside the little tubes and by the lines on the outside. All I can say is,
Mamma mia, you got to try this.
as I previously noted, this is my all-time favorite classic Italian comfort food, and I'm super finicky about it. The chicken marsala at Bootlegger, a 10 out of 10. Another winning dish. Dry marsala, mushrooms, chicken stock, and thickened with butter, exactly as I think it should be made. I'm sure this recipe is very similar to my own. I loved this dish. Well, we really enjoyed our meal at the Bootlegger. It's old school, solid Italian fare, made by those with a lifetime of experience and a boatload of love. Not hard to see why they rank so high on our list. Okay, drum roll please. And now, A number one, king of the hill, top of the list. Ferraro's Ristorante, located 1 block east of the Strip at 4480 Paradise Road. Winner of the prestigious Gambero Rosso Award, 3 forks for the best restaurant, 3 wines for best wine list. It's the Italian equivalent of a Michelin rating. Only 9 restaurants worldwide have ever gotten this high of a rating. This restaurant has been in business since 1985 and is family owned and operated. Father, Gino, began their journey when the family came to America from Calabria. Gino's son, Chef Mimo, is the genius behind all the creations here. So many of our viewers have recommended Ferraro's to us, and now I see why. It's the closest I've found to the wonderful food I grew up with. Everything here is made from scratch. Pastas, bread, amazing sausages, and it shows. Clearly, this restaurant is operating at another level from the rest. It's for this reason that we choose Ferraro's for our top spot at number 1. They start you off with heavenly fresh baked yeasty homemade bread. Crisp on the outside, fluffy and warm on the inside. As if this couldn't get any better, they also make a wonderful pesto dip. The pesto, one of the best I've ever tasted. So much garlic and basil, it's almost shocking, but in a delightful way. We started off with a nice glass of house Pinot Noir and a wonderful virgin mojito. They have a whole menu of cocktails, as well as another menu of mocktails. They even serve a Cuba Libre with non-alcoholic rum. Very refreshing. You'd never know it's not the real deal, apart from the lack of a hangover the next day. What at first glance looks like seductive red mood lighting along the far wall is actually a voluminous back room containing a king's ransom and wine. Peering into this cavernous chamber made me feel as though I was entering Batman's secret lair, dimly lit with red accent lighting and seemingly every wine known to man in its floor-to-ceiling shelving. Over 15,000 bottles representing more than 1,500 different makes and varieties. It's the largest collection of wines within a restaurant in the United States. Okay, hope he's not nicknamed Butterfingers. That's a $17,000 bottle of wine. Fried baby squid in a delicate batter, with the addition of sliced zucchini fritti. Crispy, perfectly seasoned with salt, pepper, and basil, they're light and not at all greasy. The perfect way to start off a meal. This calamari comes with a very balanced lemon mustard aioli for dipping. And this lemon sauce is incredible. By far, the best calamari we've had in Vegas. So fresh and wonderful. We love them, so will you. Brilliant, bright, super fresh heirloom tomatoes, with avocado, red onions, fresh mozzarella, extra virgin olive oil, and a balsamic reduction. The chunks of vibrant tomatoes are firm and sweet and pair perfectly with the buffalo mozzarella that's also cut into rustic chunks. This is a salad I grew up eating at the start of every meal. It's a classic Italian tradition. The avocado, more of a West Coast twist, adds a wonderful creaminess to this summery salad. It's topped with a sweet and tart balsamic vinegar reduction that's not only beautiful, but delicious. A visual appeal the equal of its taste. I could eat this all day, but time to move on. Veal scallopini with lemon, butter, white wine, and capers, served with grilled asparagus and roasted potatoes. Though not a totally traditional piccata, this is a fantastic rendition. You'll sense a hint of mustard that gives this dish a mysterious burst of tartness, but it works so well with Chef Nemo's recipe. The veal pounded thinly and seared, then cooked in a sauce with butter, lemon, capers, chicken stock, and a little fresh basil thrown in at the end to give it a unique twist. A colorful play on a traditional recipe. Spectacular. Homemade rigatoni pasta and house-made spicy andouille, which is a wonderfully fatty sausage that's bursting with rich garlic, paprika, and chilies. Probably one of the best pastas you'll ever taste. It's right up there with my nonas. The pasta is cooked al dente, and there's no shortage of sauce or sausage in this fantastic dish. There's no salt at your table, and you won't need to ask for it either, since they take seasoning to the edge here. It's perfectly balanced, yet with a mountain of flavor, and topped with a wonderful Caciocavallo cheese and toasted breadcrumbs. You have to try this dish. You're going to love it. While this may seem like a lot of money for ossobuco, it's worth every penny. Comfort food at its finest. It reminds me of my mom's ossobuco. It's been cooked till tender in a wonderfully rich tomato sauce that thickly coats these perfect veal shanks. I love the saffron risotto. It's rich and creamy without overpowering the melt-in-your-mouth succulent veal. They give you a little instrument to dig out the marrow so you won't miss a drop. Kind of reminded me of playing that Operation game big in the 70s. Except here, you can't avoid getting shocked when this divine dish meets your taste buds. Another superb and deeply satisfying dish, and they're rightfully proud of it. Do not miss this ossobuco. Finally, the hazelnut chocolate cake with chocolate mousse, baccio ice cream, and yogurt. This homemade cake is so light and not overly sweet. The chocolate mousse is a work of art, so masterfully executed. I'm loving the yogurt, the fresh berries with raspberry coulis, and especially this wonderful chocolate hazelnut ice cream. Just a perfect way to end a meal. Well, this video was a true delight to make. So much great Italian food here in Vegas. While each restaurant had something wonderful to offer, it's hats off to Ferraro's. It was a perfect meal in every way, and a cinch for the top spot today. It evoked so many memories of meals of days long past at home with family and friends. The only deviation from my upbringing was to cook potatoes instead of a small side dish of pasta and red sauce. But that's a very trivial personal preference. All in all, Ferraro's is my new go-to spot for Italian food, and the place I'll first recommend to out-of-towners and locals alike. You would be insane not to go here if you're a lover of Italian cuisine, as I am. I know we're all guilty of watching YouTube videos and not participating. Please like, comment, subscribe, or even become a VIP member. It means a lot to us, and it helps us grow and to bring you more reviews. Until we eat again, bon appetit!